The opening day of Premier League football is just 14 days away, and Mauricio Pochettino could perhaps do with a couple of additions to his Chelsea side. With a high turnover in players, Chelsea's Premier League squad announcement will be more keenly awaited than most. There are going to be a lot of new faces trying to earn the Blues' European qualification under Mauricio Pochettino following a difficult season, with senior figures such as N'Golo Kanté, Mateo Kovacic, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz and Ruben Loftus-Cheek having already departed. Trimming the squad down in such a way has been necessary, with discontent settling in for many given the limited opportunities that arrived following the January arrivals of Enzo Fernandez, Noni Madueke, Mykhailo Mudryk and more. The Blues had too many players for their Champions League squad, and it was hard work to squeeze in a Premier League matchday squad when injuries did not help accommodate more players. Nevertheless, the pre-season tour of the USA has seen a large group compete against Wrexham, Brighton and Newcastle so far, with Chelsea's coaching staff ensuring minutes are managed so that the squad arrived to Liverpool on the opening day of the season, primed for competition. Pochettino made it clear that a smaller squad will be required when the Premier League gets underway. He said, "What we cannot have is a massive squad, players not be involved, and then it's going to create a mess in the squad. Maybe less is more and more is less. It is not mathematic. That is why I need to make clear we don't need a big squad. We need 22, 23, 24 players with some younger, and that's it. I am so sorry because maybe the decision will be tough, but we need to build a good and a balanced team who want to compete for things." Pochettino will be allowed to name a squad of 25 if he so wishes, though that must include 8 homegrown players. Any players under the age of 21 are eligible beyond the limit of 25 players. For 2022-23 players were classed as under 21 if they were born on or after January 1, 2001, presumably for 2023-24 that will be from the same date in 2002. Chelsea set out for the summer in search of a goalkeeper, a midfielder, and striker. They have delivered 2 options for the latter position, with Christopher Nkunku and Nicholas Jackson both looking natural in front of goal. Chelsea have turned down a loan offer from Juventus for striker Romelu Lukaku in recent days, reports Italian newspaper Tuttosport. Via Football Italia, the proposal was believed to be a season-long loan with an option to buy at the end. However, they are waiting out for a permanent switch valued at roughly £34 million. At this stage, both Lukaku and the Bayern Canary are believed to be willing to wait out on a deal until later in the window, cranking up the pressure on Chelsea to let him leave. Moises Caicedo is obviously the ideal candidate given the time already invested and Pochettino's hopes for one more midfielder. Chelsea have not backed out of talks to sign Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo this summer, despite conflicting reports suggesting they may have. That's according to Fabrizio Romano, who claims that the Blues are still firmly in the race to land the Ecuadorian international in the coming weeks of the window. The West London club recently saw an £80 million bid turned down by the Seagulls, who are standing firm on their stance, but Chelsea continue to discuss the possibility of a transfer. Chelsea have geared their transfer strategy towards signing promising young talent for the future under their new ownership structure and look set to add another wonderkid to their ranks, the likes of Kendry Poyes, Andre Santos, Omari Hutchinson, and Angelo Gabriel are just a few to name that have been acquired over the past year. Add to that the fact that Clearlake have also added French side Strasbourg to their club portfolio as part of the plan to create a multi-club model. The aim is to have a self-sustaining operation that will see the club avoid paying large fees for talents they could have spotted sooner. With that project underway, the conveyor belt of talent has to start with a large base, and the signings made so far have underlined that ambition. The latest name set to join the project is Leslie Ugarcu, a young midfielder with plenty of promise that could be set to join the Blues. A deal is claimed to be agreed at £23 million with Rennes. So with that said, here's a look at the profile of the latest addition to the squad. Ugarcu is a 19-year-old central midfielder at French side Rennes, where he came through the academy ranks and has made 60 appearances for the club. That includes 35 matches last season in the deeper central role, having also won caps for France at under-19s level. At 6 foot and 2 inches tall, the youngster is a force to be reckoned with in the midfield, as he is able to add a dominant edge to the side. On the ball, there's been plenty of promise on display too, with line-breaking passes that are able to progress the ball up the field. Where there may be questions is over his ability to score goals, though that in itself may not be a trait that's commonly required for a more defensive-minded midfielder, but one to keep in mind. His development will now have to be thought over carefully. Given the stage of his career where he has senior minutes under his belt, a loan to Strasbourg could be an option, but so too could be a chance to impress with Chelsea in the senior team, but with fewer opportunities. It remains to be seen which decision will be made for the £23 million man, but there's a lot to be excited by in the future. Chelsea have agreed a £38 million deal with Monaco to sign the France defender Axel Disasi after losing Wesley Fofana to a serious knee injury. Disasi will provide extra competition at centre-back and is due to discuss personal terms before completing a move to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, who are also weighing up a move for the Brighton Hove Albion goalkeeper Robert Sanchez, have been forced into the market for a defender because of Fofana's injury and have moved swiftly in negotiations with Monaco. Chelsea's co-sporting director, Lawrence Stewart, was hired from Monaco this year and knows Disasi well. The former Reims centre-back is regarded as one of the biggest talents in Ligue 1 and was part of France's World Cup squad last year. The arrival of the 25-year-old could increase the possibility of Trevoh Chalobah leaving Chelsea. International and West Ham are thought to be interested, with Fofana potentially out for the season after having knee surgery. Chelsea's options in central defence include Thiago Silva, Levi Colwill, Benoit Badiashile and the inexperienced Bashir Humphries. Badiashile was signed from Monaco in January and also knows Disasi well. Humphries is likely to go on loan. The arrival of a new goalkeeper has appeared to become less of a priority, with Kepa Arrizabalaga set to be the club's clear no. one for now. Marcus Bettinelli has been third choice in recent years, but has the experience to be a worthy backup, but with his current injury, the Blues do begin to look a bit light. Gabriel Slonina is set to go out on loan, but the possibility of Jamie Cumming or Lucas Bungstrom sticking around has not been ruled out, while Eddie Beach could also be learning in first-team training until January. However, the Blues may want a more experienced head to, at the very least, keep Kepa on his toes. The club are considering a move for Sanchez as they hunt for a keeper who can provide competition for Kepa Arrizabalaga. Sanchez has fallen out of favour under Roberto De Zerbi, who replaced him with Jason Steele last season, and Brighton could be tempted into a sale after signing Bart Verbruggen from Anderlecht. Chelsea are monitoring the situation and are expected to bid for the Spain international. Mauricio Pochettino is keen to sign a goalkeeper this summer, and Chelsea did explore moves for Andre Onana, who ended up joining Manchester United from Inter, and Milan's Mike Maignan. But Chelsea have decided not to spend big on a new number one after failing to find a buyer for Arrizabalaga. They are prepared to compromise by bringing in experienced cover for the Spaniard after the sale of Edouard Mendy to Al Ahly. Sanchez would not be expected to cost as much as Onana or Maignan. The 25-year-old broke into the Brighton side under Graham Potter but lost his place under De Zerbi. He has not been part of the club's pre-season tour of the US and is likely to need a new challenge. And that's the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to support me.